Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Holt Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Brennan Holt, and today, for this podcast, I would love to tell you guys about the worst night of coon hunting that I've had in quite a while, and it happened last night. So, but before we get to that, real quick, just want to shout out the CCS hunts. Make sure, guys, if you're interested in that, go down here to the bottom and click that join button and follow those prompts, and that'll get you access to the Coonhunt Championship Series hunts, and it really helps us out. Keeps us doing what we're doing and trying to bring you guys good quality content in the form of competition coon hunting. So hit that join button, and we'd love to have you guys as members. And also got to shout out Johnson's Telemetry for their sponsoring of this podcast, and you know, everything that they've done for me with the Garmin system. I'm loving it, and it's really been a game changer for me. I can't believe that I went all the years that I've went now with the old system, and just loving the Garmin Alpha 200 and the actually the 200 Plus and the collars that they sent. So huge shout out to Johnson's Telemetry. Give them a call if you need any Garmin work done or anything of that nature. So I also got a message from Mr. Bradley Ballard out in either North Carolina or South Carolina, and he wanted me to shout out this hunt that he has come up with and that he's going to be putting on, and it's called the Jesus and Hounds hunt. It's just going to be something where people get together and fellowship, talk about Jesus, and also going to have a hunt where they turn some dogs loose, and that's going to be Saturday, January 10th, 2026. So he also has a Facebook page called the Jesus and Hounds page, and so if you just go look for that on Facebook, I'm sure you can find everything you want to know out about that. So it's for a good cause, and he's a supporter of everything that we do here, and so I decided to just shout that out for him and hopefully just bring some more attention to it. So, yeah, let's get right into this hunt that I had last night. And there's going to be several aspects to this, tying things together. But last night, let me start with Shai, because Shai has been looking better. If you guys saw that Coonhunt Chronicles that came out earlier this week, he's been looking better and really kind of getting me excited again for him. I've just got a connection with the dog. I mean, I really do. The way he acts and how he handles himself, his style, I just like the dog. And, anything can happen any night. He can have a bad night or this or that. And, obviously bad things can happen. Dogs can get hit on the road or whatnot. And that's why people say don't get too attached to them. But that's just me. I mean, it's just, you put a lot of work and effort into them. And, that's just part of it is, for me anyways, is every time you turn a dog loose that something bad could happen. But I like the dog, and he's been looking good. He hunts the way I like one to, and just carries himself good, and I have high hopes for him. And so last night we went, and it's been getting a little bit colder here the last week or so. We've had kind of a pretty significant cold front and some weather come in, and we got, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches of snow. And it's been low 20s, mid 20s at night. And the hunting's been a little bit tough just, in this last week. It's just like there's not much moving. And I went from having a dog back in the summer when he had Ehrlichia and wasn't acting right, treeing way too many trees to now, he's been on Elite and he's been through Doxy and all this, and now he isn't making a tree in this last couple times I've hunted him because it's just been tough with it being that cold and snow on the ground. I don't know. Guys from other places, Indiana, Ohio, all that stuff, they seem to treat coons in the snow. I guess I ain't got the dog to do it here, but that's just how it is, I guess. Last night we went and I had a feeling that it was going to be a bad night. But Josh and I go, and we've got all kinds of dogs. He's got 3 dogs and I brought both of mine, and we turned Shai loose and Heist loose last night. It was probably around 7:30 or so, and Shai struck on something and kind of worked it a little bit, but long story short, they ended up going 1.5 miles, and we had to catch them both on a gravel road. So not a good start. And then we kind of talk about it, and I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a good night. And then we just kind of decided, we're gonna go ahead and go to this other place. And this other place is a huge conservation area. It's pretty rough hunting. It can be. It's nothing but woods. It's just a huge chunk of woods, and you got steep hills and bluffs and ditches and a big river that runs through this place. So it can be pretty nasty in some areas. We get over there and we turn 3 dogs loose, all kind of separately. We cut one, and then we drive down a couple 200-300 yards, cut another one. And anyways, the dogs, we must have just dropped them right on a coon that had been down, because they went in there not far, 300-400 yards, and treed this coon. And my other dog, he went over and covered them. And so we were working on dogs a little bit in there for covering. We recut and made a couple of other trees, and it just wasn't good. Besides that one coon that we treed. And so we go back up to the road, and we're talking about what are we going to do now. And Josh went ahead and cut Heist again, and I got Shai back out of the box, and I cut him opposite side of the road. And that would have been the last time that we saw them for several hours. They get way out of pocket. You don't hear them. We're sitting there trying to get as much signal out of our tracking systems as possible. And another thing that I'll add is this place that we're hunting, there is absolutely zero cell signal. So if you got to make a call, you have to be up on top of the main road, up high, to get any kind of signal to make a phone call. So we've got Heist loose, we've got Shai loose, and we're going on 20-30 minutes. Neither of them's made a sound. Heist is getting to where he's almost all the way through the conservation area and is over by private property by a state highway. So Josh leaves, takes off to go around there, and the way this place lays, it's like a 10 to 12 minute drive around just to get over there, what is 1.5 miles as the crow flies. So he leaves to go drive around and get in front of Heist, and he gets over there, and when he gets over there, just right off of the state highway, he sees a flashlight and like a guy yelling down towards his dog. And so Heist, it takes off running the other way. He starts running back into the conservation area. So Josh turns around, he drives all the way back 12 minutes to me, and while he was gone, I drove down deeper into the conservation area to try to pick up Shai again. Well, Shai had went kind of in the same area that Heist was, way deep in there. He got to the river, and he had a choice to make. He could have went right or left, and right would have been bringing him closer to me. Left would have been taking him farther away from me towards private property. Of course, he went to the left. And so I drive, and as close as I could get to him is about 500 yards. And I get out, he's just made his left turn, and I'm whistling and I'm hollering for him. And, usually if, he's not got anything going on and he can hear me, he will come to me, but he obviously couldn't hear me, or he wasn't going to come to me, and he just kept trucking. So back up to the top of the hill I drive, and I call Josh, and I'm like, hey, where's Heist? Did you get him? No, he's headed back into the conservation. Some guy with a flashlight was yelling at him. So me and Josh meet back up, and then we decide to drive back over to the other side where Shai was. And so we drive around, me and him, and we drive all the way to the end of this state road. And I've got, he's lost on my tracking system for a while, but anyways, we get all the way, the state road dead ends, and it turns into just a blacktop, and then the blacktop dead ends at this really fancy resort looking place, and there's a gate with a bridge crossing a creek, and the gate is completely closed. There's a keypad there, but there's nothing we can do. And my tracking system is saying that he's treed 3/4 of a mile, like straight behind that gate, basically. So we're like, well, I mean, there's no option. A creek runs the whole length of this place that we would have to cross, and directly across from the creek is a bluff that goes up about 100 foot, and there's like nothing. We can see houses and lights like all up on the hill up there. What do we do? And there's obviously no signal down here for cell phone signal. So we sit there for just a few minutes and hoping maybe someone will see our headlights and come down or whatever, but nobody comes. So we take off and drive out of there and drive halfway back around to the other side before I get cell signal. And I'm like, well, I've heard this before, that this is the best thing to do in this scenario. And so I called the sheriff's office and talked to the dispatcher, and I told her what was going on, and she said, all right, we'll send a deputy out. And so back around to the other side we go, to the conservation area, and we get back over there. We're going to check on Heist while we're waiting for the deputy to get out. And this reminds me of a rule that I forgot to mention at the beginning, but I typically have this rule, and let me know what you guys think about it. I'm sure this doesn't apply to you Ohio guys or Indiana guys or whatever, but to me, if it's less than 30 degrees and there's snow on the ground, to me, I might as well just stay home, because I have never had much luck, especially in the early part of, December or end of November when it's, really just kind of starting to get cold, I have never had luck with coons moving when it gets below 30 degrees. I don't know. You guys let me know. That's just my opinion. Maybe I just don't have the right type of dogs, but it is tough for me. So it just seems like the coons we have here, they just like hole up. They just hole up and they don't move at least for 3 or 4 days. And then if it stays cold, sure, then they have to get down and feed. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. But so we go back around to the conservation side to check on Heist, and we pull up, and sure enough, there he is on Josh's tracking system. He's 1.2 miles in there treed, and there's no driving, no getting closer. We got to walk. So we take off and start walking. And this whole time, my dog is 5 miles away, basically. I have no way of connecting with him. I have no idea what he's doing. I have no idea if he's laying in the river down there, drowned or whatever. I mean, I hate that feeling. I hate not knowing where he's at. But we're walking in, seemed like forever to get in there to Heist. We finally get into Heist, and he's got a den tree. I mean, this just is par for the course for the night. And part of this whole concept here is like, don't go hunting if you think it's going to be bad. If you have some instincts and some past experience on what's going to be a good night and what's a bad night, trust yourself, because a lot of times I've seen it to where you just end up in a mess, especially with a dog that does not quit. Like if you are hunting a dog that is going to go until they find a track that they can do something with, and they're not just going to get treed to get treed. If you got one that wants to be right, you might be in for a long night like we were last night. So we get in there to Heist, and he's got a den tree, and we just start walking back. Seems like it takes forever. I think it took us about, 40 minutes or so to get in there to him and get back. He was in, kind of a deep ditch that we had to cross, but we got back, and right as soon as we're getting back to the truck, my phone rings and it says no caller ID. So I answer it, and it's the deputy. He's out there at that spot where the gate and the bridge is. And he's like, well, I'm going to talk to dispatch and see if they can get a hold of, the landowner or whoever, and see if, we can figure anything out. And I told them, okay, it'll be probably 10, 15 minutes before we get there. So we get Heist loaded up, drive down to Josh's truck, get him put in Josh's truck, and then we take off. Back around we go for the 4th time tonight. And we get all the way around back over there. And, the first time that we drove over there, I had picked him up like as we were getting closer, but this time I wasn't picking him up on my tracking system, and it was really starting to worry me. So we get down there, and the deputy's sitting there, and somebody from the property, the caretaker, he was down there. The gate was open, so everything's good. Get out, talk to the deputy and the caretaker, and everything was cool. Nobody was, mad or anything like that. We told him the situation. Hey, got a coon dog, turned him loose on conservation area, and he's gotten over here. And so he said, all right, let's go, let's drive up there and see if we can get him. So we drive up there, and still can't hear him, can't get him picked up on the tracking system. And he's only like 500-600 yards away. So I'm really starting to like worry. And so we get in the truck again, and he's like, all right, we can get a little bit closer to him. He was down right on a big river and in a huge bottom field. So he says we can get a little bit closer and get out again and see what's going on. So we get closer, get out, and I still do not have him picked up. but he lets out a couple of barks, and I'm like, something's off. Something is wrong. He's not treed, but he's not moving. The tracking system's not picking him up. Something's going on. So he tells us, go ahead and get in your truck and drive out into that bottom field and drive right to him. So we do. And we're getting closer and closer. I'm still not picking him up, and I just can't figure out why. We hop out and start walking that way, and we cross a little creek, and all of a sudden we hear a coon squalling, and I'm like, oh man, he's got a coon caught on the ground. So, but we can't see him, and we can hear him, squalling, and we can hear Shai is growling and this and that, but we can't see him. And so finally we peek over the edge of the riverbank, and there they are. He has got a coon up under a huge root system of like a sycamore, I think. And he's got it way up in there, like 4 feet up in there. And he's got this coon in there, and he's fighting it. And I guess due to him being up under the bank is why my tracking system wouldn't pick him up. Obviously that's why he wasn't barking. So a lot of worry is relieved in that moment, but now it's getting him out of there. And so I've got to crawl, because the coon still got a little life in it, so he's not leaving it. He's ignoring me. I'm telling him, come on, Shai, come on. And he's not listening to me. So I get down on my hands and knees, and I start crawling into this root system. I can barely fit in it. I've got 2 holes in my boots, a hole in each boot. So my feet are filling up with water, and then I have to get on my hands and knees. So I'm completely soaked from my waist down. My hands have gotten in the water. It's 25 degrees. There's some snow on the ground. It's cold. And I get crawled in there to him. The coon's still alive. I got to reach my hand in there amongst all of it. And Josh dangles the snap down to me. I get him snapped. And, then we get the lead strap kind of worked through some root system where I think I can pull him out. And we sit here and mess with him for 15 minutes probably. Trying to get him to, get it killed and let go of it and drag out of there. And finally we get him drug out of there. And it's, I don't know, 12:30, something like that. My hands are froze and I'm soaking wet. But he seems okay. And we get him back to the truck and, go back up and talk to the deputy and the caretaker, and they were cool about it, and everything worked out just fine, other than being soaked and being freezing. But, I knew, I had a feeling that it was going to be that kind of a night. And when you have certain type of dogs, they will put you in situations that you really don't want to be in. So just think about that when you're going. To me, if it's less than 30 degrees, especially if snow's on the ground, you're going to have a hard time convincing me to go. It just doesn't seem like they move that good. And, just think about that the next time that you're going, and the main point here is sometimes doing the right thing ends up working out better for you. And what we did, the right thing was to call the county sheriff's office and see if we could get someone out there to help. Because we would have been in a really big mess if we'd have tried to hop the fence and, trespassed and did all that stuff, in this situation. So sometimes doing the right thing just ends up working out better for everybody. And I'm glad that in this situation it did. And the reason I bring this up is because I don't remember where I heard this, but I heard it from someone. I don't know if it was on another podcast or what, but I heard someone say that the protocol for this situation, when you've got a dog lost or they're on private property and you can't get to them, the proper protocol is to call the local sheriff and have them escort you to the dog. Certain states have that right to retrieve law to where you can retrieve your dog without specific permission from a landowner, but other states don't have that. And so I'd heard that that's what you should do, is call the local sheriff. And that's the first time I've ever had to do that. And it worked perfectly. So, the deputy was great. The caretaker was great. And that's how it should be. So guys, girls, if you ever find yourself in that situation, call your local sheriff and hopefully they'll help you resolve the issue and get your dog back. So, yeah, that's kind of it. I am curious from everyone. Let me know what your thoughts are on the 25-degree thing. Let us know where you hunt, whether you're hunting in Ohio or Kansas or West Virginia or whatever. Yeah, comment on here, send us a message. Let us know where you hunt and what you think about that 30-degree rule, because I've seen it too many times, at least where I'm hunting, and I'm curious what you guys have to say on that topic. So, that's pretty much all I got for today. It's a short one, but I really I wanted to tell you guys that story because it was quite possibly the worst night of coon hunting I've had in quite a while. Just that feeling of not knowing where your dog is. Whether he broke through ice and, the worst thing imaginable happened. That feeling's not fun. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys and tell you, a situation that turned out the right way by, getting a hold of the sheriff's office, and everything's good. Dog's healthy still, and everything turned out good. So, yep. Let us know, comment, and let us know on that stuff, and appreciate everyone listening. More CCS hunts coming. Make sure to join, and you'll get all the access to that stuff. And thanks again to Johnson Telemetry for taking care of my Garmin needs. They're great to work with, and they'll get you taken care of. And yeah, appreciate everyone watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Listen to this or watch it anywhere where you get your podcasts. Thanks again. We'll see you guys next time.